Hey, and we're back with the rational reviews of the Premier League, and let's get back into this. So I missed round 6 of the Premier League. As you probably know, I didn't release anything for round 6. I know we're at round 7 already, just showing you here, just so you can see it on camera. It's already, I'm a couple weeks late, life happens, you get drowned out, and anyways, let's move on. So, okay. Let's start off with Brentford. Okay, let me pull up my notes. I did go through all of these games. I made my notes. I do have a little bit of hindsight bias, of course, because I do know what happens in the game afterwards, and some of the stuff that happens afterwards, like Nuno Espirito Santo is now hired at West Ham, things like that. So just keep that in mind, a little bit of hindsight bias knowing. But the thing is, I still think that some of my things have hold true from previous notations that I've made. But anyways, I don't want to be rambling on too much. The point is that Brentford 3, Man United 1. Brentford, you get an A out of this game. 1, long throws from Coyote. Your set plays are extremely dangerous. And teams really need to be aware of that when they're coming in. They need to practice their set plays. They need to, I don't know. It's more of you need the guile and the impetus to come after the ball, and attack the ball when you're on defense in these scenarios, like Man United didn't. But nonetheless, long ball counterplay, still a dangerous issue. Thiago actually was able to score 2 goals from such scenarios with long balls over the top and, try to beat a high line. So if you are playing against Brentford, I would give a little extra room for that high line, because you never know if Dangle Ouattara is going to hit in the corner, shot in the corner, Thiago over the top, these kind of things. Also, Jensen got a corner or a counterattack, play and finished a game like that. So really cheap goals that you gave away. Sheshko's was an ugly goal. And then also there was the miss from Fernandes. So Fernandez, whatever. So you're kind of lucky that it only stayed 3-1. But the thing is that, look, I mean, you won a game against Man United, right? But yeah, I mean, if Collins got that red card and or Fernandez got the penalty on, this game could have been way different. But you've given you an A because, I'm just impressed with how you guys are playing at the moment. And when I look at your team, I'm still kind of there's some parts that are nice. I think Henderson's a good pickup. Coyote, I like. Ouattara, Shada, Damsgaard's pretty good. But, Collins is a little sus at times. Kelleher looks good too. Vandenberg is a little sus at times. He doesn't have a wide high floor and ceiling, but anyways. So get an A. Man United get an F. This is the worst display of the weekend. That's kind of unsurprising considering the media storm that happened after this game. It's probably the worst display in the Premier League, maybe at this point. But just you didn't understand where the threats were coming from. There's a lot of lack of awareness of just a lot of mental errors, not understanding the level of play. And it's funny because Brentford's not that difficult in terms of what their scheming is. Their scheming is very clear. So here's the thing too, is as we all know, Lemans, I don't know how to say his name, is in net for game C week 7. But when you look at this game, you look at what happened with Binder, this game is an utter liability in the air. He does not look confident whatsoever attacking the ball in the air. He flaps at it most of the time. The Jensen goal, he probably should have saved as well. He didn't get his hands right when he was, that ball was, pretty much drilled right at him. But the team is still forming, so I don't want to be super. It is an F, right? But I can't. I gotta say though, is your team is still forming, and the hate that's coming at Amorim, I understand that the Man United fans have a high expectation rating, considering the finances, the draw, the power, the play, the players that you have. I get it, but you still have an identity that's not really formed since over a decade. You have not actually stuck with a manager for 3 seasons to actually figure out what does that team actually look like and play like. So I'm you're going to give up just awful goals, and you're going to play awful games. And even Amorim said that going into this season. He's there are going to be games that you're going to be utterly frustrated with. And this is one of those games. So I you almost got back into the game because Brentford gave you like two, like just really cheap chances and, you couldn't put them away. But I'm just saying, like, look, this is one of those games where I was just like, you got to have a little bit more patience because Man United, you're like, are you rebuilding or you're not? Like, you guys are all looking for the quick fix. You're looking for like the GLP-1, like stick it in. It's like, no, you guys got to go to the gym. You got to go work out. You got to get, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I'm like, the road for improvement is a long one. The short, quick fix, like you're not having, this is like, you need to go to the doctor and you need to get treatment. Okay. You're not going to take Tylenol and break the fever like this. That's not what's happening. I guess that's probably a better analogy. Not the GLP-1 thing, but anyways, okay, we're done with that. Let's go to Chelsea Brighton here. Let's go to this. Okay. Chelsea 1, Brighton 3. We got a red card as well for Trevor Chalobah. Okay. In week 5, or the week prior, in my notes, I had to go back in my notes because I was like, I had to like really rethink. I'm like, okay, I have a general understanding of all the teams and like a pretty good knowledge about it, but I did need to go back. Like, what did I say about teams previously that, that would be, that even like kind of aligns with some of how these guys are playing. One, mental errors. This was the quintessential mental error game. Everywhere. Mental errors everywhere. Conceded dumb goals. There's 2 giveaways at the back. One of them resulted in a goal. Another one resulted in Chalobah getting a red card. So this is just like one of those games where I was just like, well, I mean, if you're going to, it's actually 2 cheap goals and the red card. That's actually, sorry, not 1 goal, two goals and a red card from bad play and defensive error, passing terribly, not understanding like the challenges. Anyways, before the sending off though, you guys played pretty well. Gotta be honest. You sustained pressure. You actually got the lead, and you look pretty good. But the red cards are obviously becoming an issue for you. I am aware that obviously the Man United game in the week prior to this game, and then there's the Benfica game in the Champions League. I just think that like one of the things I like about you as a team for Chelsea is like you guys go for it. You go for everything, right? You always are like willing to go for it. Whether it's the challenge, whether it's the ball, whatever it is, right? Always. And I like that guile, that like confidence that you guys bring in when you're attacking, right? The thing is that level of risk taking, like it shows a sign of immaturity. It shows a sign of confidence because you guys can, like Joao Pedro said after the West Ham game, we can beat anybody. But the thing is that your inability to assess risk, it's that level of maturity to know when to mitigate risk and when to not take the chance. That's when you guys are beating yourselves like a 3-1 to Brighton at home, right? You're making dumb errors and now you're beating yourself, not even, you're not even making chances. And Pep Guardiola famously said, I don't know how long ago he said it, but essentially he said something along the lines of soccer is more about like the errors that are made are just as significant, if not more significant, than the plays that you make, like the success that you're able to, to bring on. Because we all like, I like to talk about whether like, I'm like, did you capitalize on an error or did you create a chance to score the goal? Right. And often like you can assess a team. I'm like, did you create the chance, like a nice successful passing play where you can see that it's one touch, like, and it clicks. That's like, all right, that team is locked in now, right? Having the offensive pattern, like passing patterns. But on the other side, though, is if you're making errors are going to happen everywhere. But if your team is able to capitalize on errors, usually you can see that with teams that are great at counterattacking. That's usually like the first sign. You think about Nottingham Forest under Nuno, Wolves under Nuno. You think about Eddie Howe's team as well. It's like then once they're good at capitalizing errors for the counter, right? Now teams are like, well, I don't even want to risk it anymore because you guys are so good at taking on the errors, right? So that's why when they start dropping off, and that's when you see the counter-attacking teams struggle with offense because now it's about creating your own chances and that becomes like the sign of a great team or a title winning team even. And that's like that switch. So anyways, enough about that. My last point is like Virgil van Dijk is actually really good at risk mitigation, and he knows when to go and when to not go. And you guys just take a little bit of a page out of his book, but I'm giving you guys a D- Chelsea, because that was like a really bad display. You just kind of imploded on yourself. Brighton, Hertzler said in an interview after the game that he basically doesn't think that this league has favorites, that anybody could beat anybody. So I love the attitude. I love the confidence. So that's great. Another piece is that you did not have to be like the better team the entire time, and that you chose your spots and you punished Chelsea. So like on the inverse of the errors made, you capitalize on the errors. And that, again, it takes a level of talent to actually capitalize, not just create the chance, but also finish the chance. So good for, who's your boy? Danny Welbeck here. Danny Welbeck scored 2. Fantastic. You got the yellow for taking his shirt off, which whatever. AKTK. But the thing is, yeah, I mean, look, Brighton, is a really good side, and at the moment, you guys are showing that you have a lot of talent. There's a little bit of inconsistency in this team right now. So I'm just kind of on the watch for it. There's like a little bit of uneasiness. I don't know what it is. I know that I have again a little bit of hindsight, knowing that Brighton drew 1-1 against Wolves and didn't play that well the week after, but it's just like Brighton does not. You guys just look like you haven't quite gelled yet, because the things that I'm seeing right now, I'm actually really I'm excited about. You guys are looking really good, but I'm just like I'm not seeing it yet. Anyways, let's move on. Oh, and if I didn't say Brighton, you get an A. I don't know if I said that, but that's that. All right, Crystal Palace and Liverpool, one of the wildest games of the weekend. Crystal Palace, this is my favorite performance of the weekend. I think this is my favorite performance. I really think it just shows the fact that like the FA Cup, the Community Shield, and all the other the other games that you had against big sides like Chelsea away, Liverpool at home, these are not flukes. You guys are a legit side. Even with Eze gone, you guys still look really, really solid. Just all things said. And what's crazy too is that you guys actually had like a lot of offense, a lot of clear, good chances too. And you guys had way more drive and desire to win this game and create chances and score than Liverpool did. So you're worthy winners of this match. Like, you actually won the match, I would say, on the stat line. Looking here, like just looking at the stat lines, I know that they had more shots than you, but like the shots on target, you nearly doubled them. 7 clean, like big chances. I mean, yeah, like XG'd them basically by, half a goal. I mean, this is not insignificant. So, and it's even like in the first half, beat them. Second half, they beat you a little bit, but that's because, they're trying to go for it. But legit, really, really good performance. My only concern, and it's not like it's, this is an A plus. And again, my favorite performance. But this is like one of those, it's the European season. It's like my concern for you is like health, fitness, injuries, wear and tear, things like that. Liverpool, you're okay. You finally broke. Like, it's like the issues that we have been seeing week in, week out throughout all of your wins. We're all like, you won, but you looked dodgy going like with that winning late, winning with like some miraculous goal, whatever it was, individual brilliance. Finally didn't happen. You took, and I think it's telling that this is not only the side that defeated you in the Shield, but also it's a side that Crystal Palace is probably the best defense like in the league right now. I think they probably do have the best defense in the league at least at the end of this week. So I think it's just like telling that you actually took on a formidable, organized, structured, offensively proficient, defensively brilliant team, and then you couldn't actually get it done because that's, and on the road as well. So it's, another struggle. So I just think that's like, I think losing your undefeated status, you need a wake up call, really. Like it is like that. And again, I know that they lost this, they lost away at Galatasaray, they lost against Chelsea week after, but I'm just saying like, it felt like it switched. It's like, yeah, you can't be coasting anymore. This is the Premier League. You're in a title defense, So, yeah. The two other title rivals as well have already had massive routes. Like what I mean by is like Arsenal put 5 against Leeds. City put 5. Was it 4 or 5 against Wolves? They put 5 against Burnley during this week. They've already had these games where they just like blown out the competition and like the other team is like totally overwhelmed. Like Arsenal beat Nottingham 3-0. They've already done that by week 6. They've already had 1 or 2. For each of the 3 like big title contenders. You haven't had one yet. You've had games where basically you're like last gasping, and that's just not what that's just not what you need to be doing. Like, I mean, the new talent's still molding. Kirkez, Verts, Isak, Ikatike, and Frimpong. Frimpong I know has been injured as well. But like Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Allison, Gakpo are pretty much the only performing players so far where they're actually, and then I took off Ekatike because, the shirt and the red card incident, but, I can add him on too, but like basically those are the guys that are actually performing and getting you over the line. Everybody else is kind of slacking at the moment, if I'm honest. But yeah, Liverpool, you get a D. That's it. So next game. Leeds 2, Bournemouth 2. Let's see here. How did this one go? If I'm honest, like Leeds, you get a C-. Golden rule for promoted clubs was sufficed. Okay, you got a draw, you got a point at home. At home, you have to get a draw or win it against every opponent, every single opponent. That is the golden rule for a newly promoted side in this league. But despite losing 2 points, I think is a very good performance. And against a really difficult opponent. I really rate Bournemouth. I really do. I still see a severe weakness on your offense. I don't like it. Like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I know that he's just still he put his first like 90 minutes in and then he's just getting up to speed here. We all understand that he missed a couple good chances. The first goal that you scored, it was actually from a goalkeeping error. He misjudged the flight of the ball after it nicked off the top of Semenyo, I believe. And the second goal was basically like a magical swing of the shot from Longstaff, and it went to like the exact upper 90. But Calvert-Lewin, again, gaining momentum. He's got a long injury history, so you got to be cognizant that he's not going to be like. We all know that he's so good once he's like up and running, but like he hasn't been up and running for years. So I don't want to like. This is a 38 game season. It's just a long season. Like something is gonna pop up, and rear its ugly head eventually. And this team's gonna sour when you don't have the ability to get the ball over the line. That's just like goals win games. And when I look at your offense, I look at plenty of talent and hustle and guile and just like dogged determination to win the ball back and like create chances. That's going to get you a lot like in this league, because there's a lot of teams that shut down when they go a goal down, or they shut down when, or they switch off when they go up, that kind of stuff happens. Leeds, I don't think that you have that problem. You actually are, you actually, that's to your benefit. You guys never switch off, which is good. That's like almost like 90% of the battle right there. The thing is, like, you need a striker, like a real, like, a legit striker, because Calvert-Lewin is like, he's just missing. He's missing it now. He's a proven guy, but this was like he missed like 2 big chances, and I'm like, come on, man, like you gotta like really put it in the net. Put one of them in the net. I know we got one in Wolves, but I'm just saying. But I don't want to be too overly harsh. Again, as emphasized, you always have to get a point or 3 points at home, period. So I give you a C- because you let up the late goal. That's the minus from the late goal. It's, I actually struggled with this one. I was like, maybe I give you a C, maybe I give you a C-. I don't know. Bournemouth, I'm giving you a C. This is a nice robbery from Leeds. You did not play to your full potential. Honestly, I could give you a C- too. Like I could. I'm giving you a C because you snatched one late. Like Semenyo has a literal cannon on for a leg, and you have considerable depth off the bench, which is why you actually drew this game with Krupi. Is it Krupi, right? Yeah, Krupi. Okay. I do expect a little bit better from this, but Leeds at home is a difficult game, so I'm actually just giving the not minus because of the fact that you actually came back into it. And by the way, Leeds fans, just switch it back to you. Like the minus is because it was late. Like if you drew 2-2 and it was like you gave up a 2-1 lead, like at the 60th minute or something like that, or like the 70th minute, I'd probably give you a C. Like you're right on the line. I think it's just because of it was so late. It was like, and it's like I'm kind of like that kind of hurts you a little bit, just like being it so late. But anyways, Bournemouth, I'm not gonna be overly hard on you. You fought back into the game and you didn't necessarily deserve to get the draw out of this. Like all things considered, you didn't play that well, but like you do have a lot that I like, and you guys are, you played half decent. So C- to Leeds, C to Bournemouth. Anyways, that's that. Man City Burnley. 5-1. The Citizens were able to put away 2 own goals from Maxime Esteve, or Esteve. Yeah. So I think what's funny is like normally I would like in this scenario, because like after I think the like Nunes scored and then like Esteve scored or conceded his second one, like the game was clearly over and Haaland scored like just a couple other buckets like after that. But the thing is, like, it's one of those ones where I'm like, I would give you like the best performance of the week, but you went in at halftime 1-1. So it's just kind of like you guys had overly dominant, had a ton of time on the ball, like in all the possessions, blah, 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 but whatever. You're in control the entire time, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like it's like you finally found the switch at the end, which is like why I'm giving you an A for the game. So I don't want to I'm not being critical. I'm just saying like it's like it took you a little bit of time to like find the lock, but you did, and you were able to like just put him away. Doku looked dangerous against Walker. Like Walker was struggling. He often needed to double up, or he had trouble tracking back because Doku was so fast. So that's that. Haaland got 2 goals, which is good for his confidence. He also got an assist too. And generally, I think you need games like this because I think you need to be able to like brush opponents aside, kind of like when I was talking about the Liverpool game. Like routes, if you're like a big title winning or title pursuing team, you need games where you could just like sweep a team aside and just kind of keep going. And it just lifts the spirits. It just makes the as like a little bit of a reprieve in like the dogged like season of just like how the games come thick and fast, especially when you have Europe and stuff like that. So that's that. Burnley, I'm giving you a D. This is the 3rd game on the road against a Big 6 team. You shrank in both 2 games, this one and the Tottenham game at the opening day of the season. And the Man United game was a little unique because it was right off the back of the Grimsby loss. So there's like a lot of blood in the water. And for Man United, it's like super negative around Man United. So it's like you could just that game was like it was a little different. Like I understand this still Big 6 game, and you actually did rise to the occasion and actually try to take it to Man United. But I'm just saying, like, it's just like fundamentally different because of the fact that they're just like, they were like so down, but anyways, I feel bad for Esteve that it sucks to have 2 own goals. With the low crosses seem to really bug you guys, and just the amount of times they were able to get around the sides, get crosses into the center, clearly was a problem for you guys. And they were also, it was clear to me that they're like, yeah, we're not going to put them over the top. We're going to put them low, hard, and into the center, just cause problems. And those deflections, that's what happens when you do that. Last thing, again, for Burnley. Don't let these games like dissuade you. You know, it's like these are the games that like, you know, it's like the welcome to the Premier League games. You know, Leeds already got blasted by Arsenal. Like you've now had 2 games where you had to go to like one of the like the big teams and then you get trounced, right? Sunderland hasn't even taken on a big team yet. I know they go to take on Man United the week afterwards and they lose 2-0. But I'm just saying like that's what happens. You know, that's like these games happen and they're not going to be determining your season. And I'm sure you are aware of that. But anyways, that's that. Let's go to the next game. I think it's the Sunderland game. Yes, Sunderland won on the road to Nottingham Forest. Ange Postecoglou and his side get a D+. This game is not a good look for you guys. It's a newly promoted side at home, and you guys lose. The thing is that there's so much resentment, like in turmoil around the team. The team's super frustrated. They look a little lost. I know that there's a ton of heat that is like on Ange Postecoglou after the Newcastle game. I got a lot to say about that, but I'm focusing on this one. The thing is, like, this is probably one of the worst situations a coach could probably get into. The fact of the matter is that Postecoglou walks into a team that was performing well, that was together, united, and actually really outperforming like expectations, right? He had a high ceiling or high bar, I should say, right? Of when like they left, right? And the thing is, like, you know, the fans and the ownership, the expectations are set really high. So like when you come in there, you need to start the ground running immediately and then just immediately start plowing teams over and winning. And that's difficult when you come right into a new side. And you're not like a Barcelona or Real Madrid or something like that, where you have like a wealth of finances, a wealth of things. You still have a good team, but I'm just saying, like, it's just not the same. It's not the same. And the thing is, like, if you go on to lose a couple games, like immediately, like, you know, fans and the ownership get on you about like, why aren't you able to deliver? And there's also the owner, Marinakis, undermined the authority of the managerial role by just forcing out Nuno unceremoniously. Because now what that does is it just sends a clear signal to the rest of these players that this is no longer a project that I'm willing to buy into, that I should buy into. The ownership just threw TNT into it. And so why should I buy into a new project that Ange wants to do? So now Ange is walking into a situation where Marinakis has now sent a clear signal to everybody who's playing under him saying, this guy can go at any point. I can get rid of him at any point. It does not matter. And the thing is, like, that puts Ange in a spot where he has no authority over his players, because everybody knows, like, oh, he's just going to get shipped immediately as soon as things don't go right. So, because, yeah, like, if I was a player, I'd be like, why should I buy into Ange's plan if I know the owner is just going to, like, blast him away immediately? So that's, like, I said it the week prior. Or whenever Nuno lost 3-0 and it was like very clear that Nuno was done, and it was the West Ham game, Forest lost to the West Ham. I was like, this is going to have to be a complete rebuild. Like it has to be. It's not really about whether or not. It's not really about whether, like, you still have a good team, and if you just get another counterattacking coach like Ange, like, and then you just works. I'm like, no, it's like, you just shattered all of the confidence, all of the goodwill, the project building that Nuno set in place. All of it is gone. It's all gone because of how horrible, like, he was treated. And all the players loved Nuno. It's like, so now the players are at odds with the ownership. So that's going to come up when it comes to, like, getting, like, looking for exits, new deal. Like, if they even want to negotiate, you know, a new contract with him, like, it's just like this whole thing becomes it's a totally different relationship because these guys are employed by him. Like, it's a different relationship with the employer now. So I feel bad for Ange. Like, I'm like, he's in an impossible situation. So anyways, that's, like, I feel bad for Ange. Like, I'm like, he's in an impossible situation. Impossible. So anyways, that's, like, I feel bad for Ange. Like, I'm like, he's in an impossible situation. Impossible. So anyways, that's, I feel bad for Ange. Like, I'm like, he's in an impossible situation. Impossible. So anyways, that's D plus for Forest. Sunderland, B plus. You got the wind of your sails. You're doing incredible. You're fearless. The team is so palpably together. It's incredible. So I do really, again, I really enjoy watching Sunderland. And you guys like put in a siege like victory, just a massive collective sacrifice. Newly promoted teams actually really struggle on the road, particularly with a team that just came off the back of the season like this, even with the turmoil that came around, because obviously you guys had to really like fight and scrap for this. So 3 points to get it on the road, again, to a team that's in Europe. That's a massive mental victory, because now it proves to the team, like, yeah, we can fight against any team. We can go on the road and actually like get something out of a team. We don't have to just rely. It puts less pressure on the home games. So now you're obviously going to they're still going to max out as much as they can on the home games, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't put like, it's like, oh, we can actually win away from home too. So it gives a level of belief. So yeah, B plus for Sunderland. Fantastic win. Okay, Tottenham and then my Wolves. Okay, so it's funny. I'm giving both teams a C here. And it's like two sides of the same coin, actually. Tottenham, I'm sure that you're probably looking, you're like, this is like a sure win in your mind. Sure win. You're like, yeah, this team hasn't even won yet. At home, we're going to spank them. I think the fact of the matter is that I don't think that anybody realized that Wolves made a big switch in the cup midweek. And that's the reason why they actually looked way better. Here, and it's because I'm a Wolves fan. I'm pretty attuned into my team here. So we made a significant switch midweek, and this was like the first game since that Premier League game since that switch. So I knew that we had like a little bit of a different like mentality coming into this game. So I expected a little bit more. We did get more, but for Tottenham's perspective, I think getting over the line in the 94th minute with Joao Palhinha, and then getting the draw out of a situation like this. I've seen you guys lose these games in the past and not be able to get over the line. So to be able to kind of get robbed and put in this position where like you're just not, like, things just aren't going your way, like the ball's not bouncing right, your touch isn't right, like the shot's not getting off, like, and actually do get the goal that's fantastic. Last thing, Joao Palhinha, he's a great player. I loved him when he was at Fulham. It was a couple years ago. He was great. He's a great pickup. So like 100%, like, you should definitely nail him in as a permanent sign. Palhinha is a starting midfielder for you. He has to be. Now, from the Wolves' perspective, only a win can cure what we're doing. I know that we also had a very similar result, against Brighton the week afterwards. But I'm just saying, like, robbed at the death. Huge plus at this point was that, like, things were different, and actually, like, just the level of like defensive pride that came into this and sacrifice to get to that point up until the 94th minute where you were robbed. But I'm just saying, like, having a chance like that and being in the game late, it's way different than all the other games previously where you kind of got like, you kind of either beat yourself or like lost early, and you kind of just were like, all right, well, this game's written off. So, but again, the issue here, I'm giving you a C just because, like, I'm like, it was a shift and it was better. But the thing is that, like, only a win can cure this. That's it. Like, it doesn't even matter how it comes at this point. That's where Wolves are. That's where I'm at. I'm like, I don't care. I will buy one. I don't care. If it comes from a referee call, like, with a scrappy, controversial penalty, who cares? That's literally what that's what is required right now. Aston Villa, Fulham. Okay, let's look at this here. Let's look at this. Aston Villa B. You're getting a B for this. This was exactly what you needed. Okay, opposite of Wolves. This is exactly what you needed. Okay, Aston Villa gets a win. Watkin gets a really nice chip goal. So this is pretty much almost everything you wanted. There were a couple nervy points, obviously. One was the goal with Jimenez right at the beginning of the game. So that was there. And there's another nervy point I cannot remember where, but that's okay. The thing is, the celebration was more of relief. Like, you didn't see Emery like happy about the win. And also the players were kind of like, oh, thank God we got a win. Like, it was it was kind of like that. So you guys are not full, like maybe it's just a little bit of pressure off you, but just saying, like you guys have gone through like a slog and actually like a real time where it's like you guys were like went up to the knockout rounds deep into the Champions League of last year, and then you played PSG and you're actually like won at home. So you went for like a real high, and now you're kind of like crashing down to earth a little bit. And yeah, so I'm just like, you know, it's wild to see how you guys are just like struggling at this moment. But like genuinely good win, yeah, McGinn's goal was fantastic. Just all around, like solid, like really solid win. Fulham, I'm going to give you a D. I don't even know what to do with this game from your perspective. I think honestly, you might be the most average team in the Premier League at the moment. Like you were the Crystal Palace before this most recent edition of Crystal Palace, like the 13th place Crystal Palace, you know, or 14th place Crystal Palace. You guys are not bad enough to be relegated, but when I'm watching from you, I'm kind of like, I don't think you're top half. Like, I don't even know where to put you guys. Like, it's like weird. It's like you guys are losing to the teams that you should be losing to, but beating the teams you should be beating. You know, there are elements of your team that I really do like. Like, I like Iwobi, I like King, Lukic, Anderson, Castagna, Leno. But like, there are pieces that I really don't care for or I don't like. You know, Harry Wilson's okay. Calvin Bassey's a liability. You know, it's just like, I'm like, when I look at your bench, who people comes off the bench, like, I mean, Anthony Robinson's still come and do, you know, he's like, he's good. I'm just saying, like, he's not like fully fit yet, but like Kevin's young. Smith Rowe's good, but like, you know, it's wild to me that he can't get like a run of games. I'm not aware let me know if he's like got a fitness issue. But you know, Adama Traore, like, I mean, how tired, like he's a known quantity now, you know, it's like, I'm just like, what, he's going to provide probably 2 or 3 like goal contributions a year. You know, I'm just like he's one of the most unique players I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. And from a Wolves perspective, I even have a little bit of bias for it because I kind of love him. But and he's one of my favorite players because he is so unique. He's like an incredible player. But I'm just like, I mean, he's a known quantity. I kind of know what I'm getting from him. So anyways, a little bit of an underwhelming performance. I do feel like you guys are not able to like, I don't know. It's like there's, I don't want to say it's not like not being able to finish games, but there's definitely something that like is missing mentally. I don't know what it is, like, but or it's like not being able to hold a lead. Like, I don't really know. Like, I don't really know but you're like, again, the best way I can describe it is like, you guys are like the most average team. You feel like a Crystal Palace from like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And you're beating teams you should be beating. You're losing to the teams that you should be losing to. That's the read I'm getting on you guys, you know, but that's it. Anyways, Newcastle and Arsenal. Newcastle and Arsenal. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. What a game. What a game. I think, okay, Newcastle, you get a D+. Okay. This game happened again. Liverpool, now Arsenal. Late loss against a big team at home. You're up for it. You know, you brought all the physicality, the style, the technique, everything. You threw everything in the kitchen sink at this thing. And it happened again, right? Okay, it's like, but it does feel like, you know, if you watch like Pope and Tia, Tonali, Guimaraes, Voltemata, like these guys played like incredible. Like they were genuinely like wild to watch. You know, it's like just like 1 or 2 breaks, like given calls or like maybe like the way you were able to shoot. Like it's like the extra 0.5% you could have gotten a draw out of this, or like even like a win. It was like that close. It was, you guys are like, and it felt like that during the Liverpool game, even when you were down a man. So it's just like, one of those things where I'm just like, I cannot believe this. But because you guys are so good, you're so proficient, you're so evolved from where you were at the start of this current Eddie Howe project. You guys, like all teams, have to go through like really painful periods where you go through the games like this, right? You've now had 2 now, where you're going to find yourself squaring up against the big boys and just barely not being able to get over the line. Just barely. You're going to have a couple of them because you have to have like that mental fortitude, right? To know what it actually takes. And you have to take that biting loss because it can't come easy. It can't. So I'm just saying, like, dust yourself off and keep going, because I really like what I'm seeing from you guys. You guys are building like a really, really like exciting team. And, I think Eddie Howe does have what it takes. I think a lot of this team does. But Voltamata is like, kicked off and running as well. So, just maintain like the intensity that you're bringing, and you're gonna get it eventually. It's just like you guys are you're like it's the mentality shift of getting over that line. It's like there's like a hard barrier, but once you do, then you're like on the other side, right? It's like that mental block, right? But you guys are right there. You're right there, and that's why you guys were able to achieve. What was it? You're able to achieve 5th place last year. But like these goal differentials, like this is what I'm talking about. Getting 20 wins on the season, that's the mentality, right? That's why you're there. Like this is you guys doing that twice against Arsenal and Liverpool is the reason why you were 5th place last year. That in Champions League side, that's everything, right? That's everything. Arsenal. This is going to be, what's funny is, okay, so my favorite performance was Crystal Palace. I think this was the best performance for Arsenal, because the draw against Man City the week prior was like a media storm of being defensive, cautious, Arteta and the rest of the team heard that, and they just let the dogs out at the end of the game, and they were like, just go get the win, get it. And this right now, the narrative that I want to build out here is, if you can't win away at Newcastle, you're not a title contender. Man City's got to play at Newcastle at the end of November. If Newcastle can't get a win at Newcastle, you're not a title contender. You're not yet. You're not this year. Like those 2 games, like where it's just the scraping of the win, like at every chance, like that is what I'm talking about for Arsenal. Now, the call that I think that should be here, a couple things. One, Gabriel's there was a penalty call, huge penalty call, VAR and everything. I think it was Gabriel slid into I want to say it was like Jacob Murphy or maybe Alanga. I think it was Alanga. It was on the right side. It was on the right side. It was over here, like in the box, right? And he slid in and he had his arm up, right? If you look at this is what the refs were looking at, right? Because to me, I understand where the refs are coming from. I don't necessarily agree with the call, but the thing is that I get where the refs are going, because Gabriel, if you look at it slow mode, Gabriel touches the ball first, so they're counting it as more of a deflection, like a bang bang play, and that is what that's where they're coming from. So I actually kind of see where they're coming from, because that's what they were slowing the ball. They're like, did the player touch the ball? And he did. They actually both collided the ball, and it came up and touched him. Now, that being said, like his arm is in an unnatural position, so I do feel like they probably should give it, because I'm still like, that's like his arm's just like way out of nowhere. So anyways, that's that. But Arsenal's mental barriers, like getting through this, I think we're like massive. And they heard the media. They heard the media talk from last week against Man City. And in my opinion, I'm calling it now. This is Arsenal's year. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it because, look, the media is like already spitting it like, oh, this could be like Arsenal's, I'm like, look, you've had a continuity players. You know, you haven't had like major exits, right? You're just not, right? Continuity of management. You've had 3 second place finishes, all right? And two of them have been genuine title chances. Last year was not necessarily like title races. Last year was not necessarily because Liverpool kind of just like blew out the gates at the very beginning. But like this year, it feels like you finally put like the finishing touches on the team. Eze, Gyökeres, Zubimendi, Mosquera. Those 4 is like the finishing touches of like the spine of the team. And now you actually have like everything, because previously you had injury issues in the back. As we know, Saliba and Gabriel would get injured, and then all of a sudden it was over. Odegaard, like perfect example. Odegaard's injured, but like there's something to say. Like I'm like Eze might be better. He might be. That might be controversial, but I really like Eberechi Eze. I like he is fantastic player. But I also really rate like, you know, Odegaard. I don't want to, you know, I'm not saying he's bad. I think Odegaard's fabulous, but like I really like the way Eze is able to plug into this team. Zubimendi's been fantastic, by the way. These 2 guys have been such an incredible addition to you guys. Zubimendi and Eze were fantastic pickups. I also like Christian Mosquera as well. I really like Mosquera. So I think like those 3 pickups are actually probably the most influential, even more so than Gyökeres. But that's that. Arsenal, you get my best performance. I'm giving you an A, but it's funny. It's like I'm giving you the best performance, but I gave Crystal Palace an A+. It's my show. I don't care. But also, too, is it's in the context of the team. I like all of these ratings are in the context of the team that they play against and with and for. Whatever you know what I'm saying. So that's that. Last piece here. Okay, so we got Everton gets a C for the 1-1 draw against West Ham. You're the better team, in my opinion. You did not play enough to get the win. Saw plenty of dominance. You just struggled to put the end product away because you guys have a crap striker for this level. Beto's a good player. I'm just saying, like, at this level, he's just not that good. Garner has an absolute howitzer for a leg. And the 3 usual suspects of Njai, Dewsbury Hall, and Grealish keep linking up, and they keep causing problems. I love watching the 3 of them link up and play. They're really, really creative together. You guys did lose tempo throughout like some point in the game, so I do knock you a little bit. So that's why I gave you the C, and that's the reason why you actually drew 1-1. West Ham, this was the first game at Nuno Espirito Santo started. So in my opinion, you guys were in pretty rough shape going into this game. And, you know, if it was under Graham Potter, you'd probably get beat 2-3-0 or 3-1 or something like that. But there was a point that Tim Howard made on a broadcast many weeks ago, and I echoed it on this channel, and I'm going to continue echoing it. You guys need pace in your team. You absolutely need pace. So I know that Nuno is going to lean on people like Somerville and obviously Bowen, Doof, Walker Peters. These guys are essential to the team. I was really impressed with Somerville. Bowen is like, you know, a known quantity of excellence, but Somerville was like excellent in this game. Just like the amount of like, just how rapid and pacey he is really, really beneficial to the team. And yeah, I think you're going to have a lift in the coming weeks. I know you guys are going to lose to Arsenal next week, but I'm just saying, you guys got a nice little run of games in November, and I will be watching to see how you guys do under new management. So I'm giving you a C+ because this performance was just better. So that, I mean, you didn't get a win, but it was just better. So I'm giving you the plus for that. All right. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. Oh my God. I do so much research and like watching like interviews, the highlights, you know, looking at, you know, fixtures, rereading my notes from like previous to just put together. I'm looking at the time right now. It is 49 minutes, 20 some odd seconds. I'm just saying, please like and subscribe. I know I'm saying at the end of this episode, but yeah, please. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will try and get week 7 out as soon as I can, because yeah, the Premier League just keeps going. It just keeps delivering. And I know we're in the World Cup qualifying right now as well. So anyways, I'm done with my ramble. Have a good one.